A USB-C travel dock with every port you need. Let's check this one out. Dave Taylor here, and this time I'm looking at USB-C hubs. Specifically, this guy is the OWC USB-C travel dock. And it's a pretty nice little unit. So really it's going to be for people that have MacBook Airs or MacBook Pros with only USB-C. I know we're supposed to migrate to just using USB-C devices, but I got a lot of old school things. I have a lot of other things I want to plug in, like an SD card, like a USB flash drive. So it covers all of that with its 5 ports. They are 2 USB 3.1 ports, 1 HDMI 2.0 port that supports 4K only at 30 Hertz, but still 4K or regular HDMI obviously, and an SD card, and it has a 60-watt pass-through power system. So we'll come back to that in a second. Just want to say what I have right now is I have it hooked up with a 60-watt charger that's feeding through to the computer, and a USB flash drive from Kingston Technology, and an SD card, and I'm charging my phone. So I got a lot going on, but I want to show you some performance. So let's go ahead and open up my computer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch around and let you see what's on the screen. You ready? Let's do it. Okay, let's start with the flash drive because I put a 150 meg video file. So now let's just go ahead and copy that to the desktop. See how long that takes. And it's already there. That was crazy fast. I would define that as a pretty fast copy. Now let's copy that to the SD card. And I'm not getting any updates. It's obviously, oh, there we go. I was gonna say, it's obviously fast enough that we're not getting updates. That was false. But you can see 150 meg written out to an SD card. SD cards aren't generally super fast. So there's the SD card. Let's go back to the flash drive. And so the SanDisk, and you can see we can move around in here, and it's pretty darn fast. So I'd say that they get a good score for performance, but there's an issue with the travel dock. So let's go to About This Mac and move it on to the screen, and then System Report. And this is a really good thing to know if you're looking at chargers and stuff. So in System Report, I'm going to go down to Power, and I'm going to scroll to the bottom. And here's what you want to look at. So it turns out that with my 60-watt charger, this is only giving 55 watts to the computer. Now it can charge with that, so it's going to be a fairly slow charge. So let me spin back around. That's really the biggest issue I have with the travel dock, is everything works really well. But what OWC says is that you need to close your computer, and then that 55 watts is enough that it'll charge. But let's be real. These devices are designed to charge with up to 87 watts. So if I'm doing it at 55 watts, I'm not really charging it very quickly. And that's a drag. I really wish that it actually gave the full 60 watts through. I mean, I understand if I put in an 87 watt charger that it might step it down, but 55 watts is a little on the low side. Then again, let's be completely honest. This MacBook Pro has 4 USB-C connections, so it is not super difficult for me to unplug it and plug the charger into a different connection, and now I'm getting the full charge and I'm using this for everything else. So there's a balance here. Is that, would it be nice for it to do that? Yes, but on most of these devices you have more than one USB-C connection. So this still gives you the SD card, it still gives you the USB, it still gives you the HDMI. It's still really nice and useful. Now, since I've now finished using it, let's go ahead and unplug it and have a look at it. It is not the smallest dongle on the market. So let me actually continue pulling things out of it. There we go. So it is not tiny. So this is something that you will be aware of if you're carrying it around. On the bright side, it's incredibly light, and I can feel it doesn't really warm up at all, which is always one of the issues with having pass-through power. So, you know, some people are saying that it gets really hot. I wonder exactly what they're doing with it. And again, if you're using this for charging and you're giving it 87 watts and it's having to step down, that could generate some heat. But for most of these devices, you can probably plug the charger in and use this for everything else. So I can use this for a second USB-C peripheral, for example. So I like what they've done here. I think there are other options on the market, but it's actually at a good price point, and HDMI works great. I tried it for a presentation and that worked really well. And there's not much else I can tell you about this other than the price. But before we get there, let me ask you, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. I really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. Now, this OWC USB-C travel dock will set you back. Let's not phrase that differently. You can have one of these really cool OWC USB-C travel docks for only $49.88 at Amazon.com. I would give this a recommendation over some of the no-name brands that you don't really know if they're going to work. And as we saw, performance is really pretty wicked good. Nothing to complain about there. So, it's Dave Taylor. I'm going to give this another shot, and I'll catch you in my next video.